everyone. Welcome to Creating Pathways to Ensure a Successful DEI Program. My name is Trisha Fong. I am the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and Senior Associate at E4H Environments for Health Architecture. Today, I'm going to speak about examples and steps that you can take to create successful programs. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am from Seattle. My parents were immigrants. My father was from China. My mother was from the Philippines. We lived in the outskirts of Seattle with a view of Mount Rainier in our back door. Mount Rainier is an active volcano. It stands at 14,411 feet. It is in the Cascade Range of the Pacific Northwest. As a young child, the youngest of five, that's me on the very end, my father, a Boeing electrical engineer, would take us hiking. And he would do this primarily to give my mother a break. She was an educator, and raising a family and leading a household, she was quite busy, although she is pictured here on one of her rare appearances. So as kids, we would run up the mountain, we would snack on trail mix, we would play 20 questions, and all the while, my father would lead a very steady pace. It was on these hikes and in our household that my parents taught us how to assimilate. And that meant living the American life in the suburbs and only speaking English. To them, it was very important that we had a better life. And so that entailed leading pathways or taking pathways that they had established. Because at a young age, they taught us that doors would open if you could smoothly sail with these pathways through your day, through your life and career. And it's with DEI pathways that can be established for individuals and your firm to smoothly navigate the DEI world. My commitment to DEI stems from my experience as a woman of color in a predominantly white male industry. And it is my hope that all companies can make it possible for all individuals to thrive. No DEI program can achieve its highest goal without a strong demonstration that it is good for business. Make your case, and where it's possible, show quantitative results. Here are some examples that have been impactful for E4H in the business realm. 1, increased creativity and innovation. We have employees from different backgrounds creating and providing various points of thought, which lead to empathetic and thoughtful design and increased innovation. 2, increased brand awareness. Last year, we were ranked #1 architecture firm solely dedicated to healthcare by Engineering News Record. It was also the year that Women in Healthcare awarded us the Making a Difference Award. Now, this just coincided with the year that E4H has had its most diverse employment. And it's also the dedication to our DEI program that brings this along. 3, increased revenue. E4H has been awarded projects because of our inclusive, community-driven process. Our clients have robust DEI programs, and they want to partner with companies that have them as well. For example, there is a Native-owned architecture firm that asked us to partner with them on an Indian health service project. This gave E4H the opportunity to get their foot in the door with Indian Health Service because we've always wanted to. But it also gave us a chance to partner with this firm and to mentor them along the way in healthcare design. The 4th point is increased recruitment. Our young professionals want to partner or want to work for a company that is purpose-driven. By 2025, millennials will comprise over 75% of the workforce. These emerging professionals want a DEI commitment. And this has been a factor that has allowed us to maintain a good recruitment and enhance recruitment and retention. Challenges are apparent, and full buy-in will not be easy. You may have leaders that say, we don't need a DEI program. You may have leaders who say, I love everyone despite gender or color. But the data says different. Respect is one thing, but it is action and equity that will truly drive change. 2 summers ago, my son and I hiked the Enchantments Trail. This is in the state of Washington, in the Cascade Range, 22 miles long and over 1 mile in elevation gain. Now that sounds daunting, and it was. We had a guide 6 months ahead of time that provided us our training schedule, equipment list, and dietary recommendations. He taught us how to breathe at high elevation, how to pace ourselves during this rigorous hike. He also taught us how to read topographic maps. So the day of the hike came. We hiked the well-marked trail from dawn to dusk, and it was awesome. So just like summiting a mountain, clear pathways are necessary. DEI pathways are necessary for you to achieve your summit. I am the first director of DEI in the 34-year history of E4H. We have over 230 employees spanning 10 offices nationwide. Forward is our DEI initiative, which was established 7 years ago. And it was established to provide an open space, a safe space for employees to share information, to work on critical skills necessary for professional development, and to continue conversations, hard conversations. This is one of the most successful initiatives within our firm. My number one lesson learned in this process is that it takes a pathway to lead all stakeholders to advancement. And these pathways require dedicated structures to be created and maintained. Without this, company leaders and staff will not know how to navigate that long climb ahead. You must establish pathways through systems, tools, and processes, then encourage people to take it. At E4H, we created structures to identify the people who would lead this initiative within the company, to create the spaces for consistent and dedicated conversations on DEI-related topics. Here I want to tell you about one of the programs that I'm pretty excited about. It's the Forward Diversity and Design Scholarship, which provides applicants from underrepresented communities scholarship money and a paid internship. We have had the program for the last 4 years, and to date have provided $40,000 in scholarship money. Last month, I went and visited our very first scholarship recipient in the New York office. He's a valued team member. His name is Julian McKnight. I felt as if I was meeting a celebrity for the first time. I was so proud. Our approach with Forward is that we are creating multiple pathways through our DEI work, all dedicated to promoting equity and empathy, providing resources and tools for education. When people feel good at work, they do good work. And that's all of us, no matter what our background. This is our dog, Tomba. I told you he was going to appear in here. Tomba likes the mountains. In the mountains of Taos, New Mexico, where I currently live, he frolics in the snow and breathes the cool air. But at 110 pounds, it is also a challenge getting him to the summit. But Tomba also follows pathways that have been laid by elk and deer through migratory patterns of paths. So here are the steps we took to create DEI pathways at E4H. And if you're wondering, how do I get started? Here's what to consider. And if you're already on your pathway to a program established, take a look and see how we compare. So the first is Listen and learn. You need to understand where you are and what your challenges are. I spoke to over 20 partners one-on-one and listened to their concerns and suggestions. Number 2, establish your team. Ensure success through leadership support. Define your team. Establish your director, your coordinator, and your core advisors, which may include HR and your CEO. Champions serve as our board, and they represent each office within our company. We meet monthly to talk about deeper issues and provide the content, and then we continue on having these safe spaces for conversation. We have really built it up with the champions. Third, create a feedback loop. In order to understand your baseline over time, we conduct an annual anonymous survey, diversity survey, and from there we can find out the pulse of the company. As a result of one survey, we established an anonymous employee hotline with a process for reporting and a process for follow-up. Fourth, define your pillars. These are guiding principles, and while they may be just phrases, they're critical in guiding the work over time. Here are ours: a more balanced workforce, accountability, education and programming, and a DEI-based approach to design. The fifth, put this all into practice. With the pillars in place and heightened awareness across the organization, staff are empowered to recognize biased behavior and are provided tools to address microaggressions in a professional manner. For example, recently one staff member noticed a vendor dismissing and ignoring people of color. Now, this is a microaggression typical to women and people of color in the workplace. However, the staff member flagged this to senior leadership, who brought this concern to the attention of the vendor's manager, and the matter was addressed. Now, a few years ago, this wouldn't be able to happen. This staff member knew that there was a pathway to deal with this issue, and management had the pathway to act. We also have the ability to create pathways for women to close the gender gap through professional development and practicing public speaking in the Forward Speaking Challenge, which endorses women seeking licensing in their field. This action directly supports one of our pillars to create a more diverse workforce, to attain a balanced workforce, reducing barriers to enter the field and bringing new perspectives into a traditionally white male industry. In New Mexico, we take great pride in green chilies, and Hatch, New Mexico is known for the green chili capital of the world. We have green chilies in our breakfast burritos, in our cheeseburgers, we have green chili stew, and we have green chili infused vodka. So at every restaurant, they will ask you red, green, or Christmas. And Christmas is a combination of salsa verde and salsa rojo. So chilies are incorporated into everything, forming the culinary culture of New Mexico. And it's even on our license plates with the tagline, Chili Capital of the World. Like chilies in New Mexico, DEI is needed to be mixed, sprinkled, and blended into everything you do to form the culinary culture that is necessary. Some quick hitting and items where we sprinkle and blend. We have monthly DEI meetings where every voice is heard, regardless of role. We have mentorship programs, a philanthropic arm that reaches out to underserved communities, and even a book club aimed at creating pathways for people to self-improve. We have a dedication to communities' wellness in our architectural process that helps our clients address the social determinants of health. And when partnering, we look for teams that are women or minority owned. And we have a DEI checklist when forming our teams and embarking on projects. These are just some of the procedures, structures, and efforts that work to help everyone thrive at the firm. As healthcare professionals, We can influence the way that healthcare is received, to break barriers and model change. For this reason, E4H has centered DEI in its strategic plan, and creating pathways was the key. What pathways will you introduce to ensure the success of your DEI programs? What pathways will you take to bring your teams to the mountaintop? Thank you.